Good morning, fellow nerds, and welcome back to yet another video. Here's an adapted version of an essay I wrote about pseudoarcheology. Roll the clip. Why are we still here? Archaeology is a scientific field characterized by the careful gathering and application of archaeological evidence in service of constructing a truthful account of how our ancestors lived, died, and made their mark on the world. Conversely, pseudoarchaeology is a social sickness that parasitizes its victims' curiosity about the past and pushes them down a spiral of pseudoscientific belief and conspiratorial thinking. Pseudoarchaeology has been used by malicious individuals to mislead since at least the early 19th century, tracing much of its roots back to the rise of nationalism and Nazism, and continues to spread at alarming rates, especially following the dramatic rise of social media like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. Pseudoarchaeology can be treated just like how doctors treat any other disease. By understanding the characteristics of pseudoarchaeology, why pseudoarchaeological beliefs spread, and teaching its dangers to the public, a cure can be developed to inoculate humanity against the sickness and dangers of pseudoarchaeology. When combating any form of dis or misinformation, it is imperative to begin with a stable definition of the subject so that it can be isolated and analyzed for its weaknesses. Oh, what the fuck? Phone dropped. Hopefully we're all okay. Let's keep going. When combating any form of mis or disinformation, it is imperative to begin with a stable definition of the subject so that it can be isolated and analyzed for its weaknesses. And pseudoarchaeology is no different. Providing a concrete definition for pseudoarchaeology is not necessarily an easy feat, since it's not a new phenomenon. As it has evolved to remain relevant over the decades, it has accrued countless different definitions and conflicting characteristics, which has lent it to becoming increasingly apt at evading consistent definition with a kind of definition-based pedantry that hinders productive discussion and makes it incredibly difficult to deconstruct. But because a workable definition of pseudoarchaeology is required to productively combat and analyze it, this video is going to use a definition based heavily on the one used by Milo Rossi, a prominent archaeologist and educator on YouTube, popular for his many videos debunking pseudoarchaeological claims. You ready? No, you're not ready. Get ready. Hold on to your socks. Pseudoarchaeology, sometimes called fringe or alternative archaeology, is a long-standing subsect of pseudoscience in which the misinterpretation, misrepresentation, or outright fabrication of most commonly fragmentary archaeological evidence is used to support a litany of erroneous pseudoarchaeological beliefs characterized by a foundation in hyperdiffusion. Wow, that was a thrilling. Try not to fall and die here. We're safe. I hope.
If you've seen anyone peddle conspiracies about Atlantis or long-lost, globe-spanning civilizations of the Ice Age or even ancient aliens, these are all examples of hyperdiffusion. Generally, the concept dictates that all of the major civilizations on Earth are descended from one lost master civilization.
The clip you just saw was from Milo Rossi or Mini Minuteman's Philip Zeba debunked video. I suggest you go watch it. It's a lot better than this one. With pseudoarchaeology now defined, it is possible to pull it apart and see how it works, like how medical researchers in the lab pull apart pathogens. The driving force behind any pseudoarchaeological claim is a concept called hyperdiffusion. That got autocorrected to hyperdeficiency. I hope I didn't submit it with that typo. Put simply, hyperdiffusion is the key trait underpinning a vast majority of pseudoarchaeological claims, and with minimal practice. I mean, it's pretty easy. Spotting it just is trivial. For example, one of the most prevalent traits present in hyperdiffusionist claims is extremely uncommon for hyperdiffusionist rhetoric to center around the achievements of predominantly white societies like Greece and Rome. Instead, ancient alien or hyper-advanced Atlantean narratives focus almost exclusively on non-white societies like the Egyptians or the Incans. I wonder why that is. The next bit of pseudo-archaeological rhetoric that we can break down is its tendency to discredit experts and undermine the scientific process. Because if any pseudo-archaeological claim comes under proper scientific scrutiny, it can be almost immediately discarded and debunked. Just a little bit of critical thinking will go a long way. Pseudo-archaeologists attempt to subvert the idea of peer review from actual experts in the field, which is a core part of the scientific method and can ensure the factuality of a claim. Since pseudo-archaeological claims are incapable of passing this test, those that believe in them will employ any manner of mental gymnastics to keep the cognitive dissonance underpinning their beliefs from being shattered.
When a pseudoscientist has their beliefs challenged, they will often make excuses or claim that everyone is out to get them. When a scientist is presented with new information, they will weigh this information, and if there is enough of it, they will admit when they were wrong. A common misinformation that we see perpetuated all too frequently is that science is unwilling to challenge the paradigm, which in reality, the only reason we are where we're at today is because science is in a constant process of challenging the paradigm.
And that was a clip from Milo Rossi's Awful Archaeology series, debunking the Nebraska Man. He's much better at this than I am. Go watch his shit instead of this. Pseudoarchaeology is categorically incapable of changing any of its core beliefs, because as a form of pseudoscience, it's a dark reflection of archaeology. And I know that is sounds cringe and nerdy, but it's true. Science is predicated on the admission of past wrongs and the dedication to righting them. In fact, a lot similar to pseudoarchaeology, archaeology was started as a scientific field with the goal of scientifically justifying racism, which of course is unjustifiable. Okay, that's a steep drop. This is totally not worth it. But unlike pseudoarchaeology's inherent inability to move past its dark past and continue to positively contribute to the world, archaeology as a field of science has not ignored its dark origins and instead used the scientific method to disprove its past claims and improve the world's knowledge and reverence of the people of the past without bigotry tainting its discussions and findings. Pseudoarchaeology, as an inherently anti-science field, does not evolve its methodology, and it remains the case that the ideas of the Nazis, who used it to justify their genocides of entire populations in pursuit of Lebensraum. I don't speak German, so that's living space. The Nazi land claim. Pseudoarchaeology was used by the fucking Nazis. Its dark origins color every discussion and slant every story, so that little by little, the believer in pseudo-archaeological bullshit like ancient aliens becomes a believer not in ancient aliens, but in ancient Aryans, and slides into the arms of the political far right and Nazism. That is, oh fuck, I almost tripped and died. More precarious than I thought. Okay. We're up here. We're up on the big rock. Rock. We're talking about pseudoarchaeology on the big rock. Fuck yeah, if I fall, that will suck a lot. Is another key red flag that indicates pseudoarchaeology being at play are claims that purport to change the face of science or cause a paradigm-shifting upheaval in the field. Hold on, I am still out of breath from climbing on this rock. I am very unfit. I should not be up on this big rock, but here we go. I'm on the big rock for you. Science, as a concept, does not lend itself to speed. Before something is even published, there are numerous intensive checks and balances which uphold a very high standard of factuality that any given claim must survive. Archaeology and anthropology are especially slow, with extremely intensive checks, peer reviews, and vetting processes. Scientific paradigm does not shift in the span of a TikTok. I don't know how to get off this. I don't know how to get off the rock.
Hey, editing me here. So apparently, it's like 3:30 in the morning, and the footage of me falling off the big rock into the water got corrupted. So I can't be fucked to fix it at this hour. So I have an artist's interpretation here. And I promise you, in real life, the rock was big like these ones, like these cool big rocks. It just looks small and wouldn't be on camera, right? I don't know why. But we got the big rock, right? And then, and there's the big rock again. Fuck yeah, me, dumbass. I gave myself a hat. But, there's me trying to get off the big rock, foolishly falling into the cold AF water. And it was only ankle deep, but like, come on. Back to your regularly scheduled bullshit, I guess.
Well, it's a different location and different day. Because apparently, falling off a big rock and into a, albeit shallow, yet very, very icy river is actually really bad. Alright, archaeologists. This is going to be a tough pill to swallow. But pseudoarcheology is just more interesting at its surface. It's more fun to imagine that the pyramids are spaceships and that Stonehenge is a portal to Mars. Fiction is really fun, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying a good story. The issue arises when people spread those stories as if they were the truth. They blend the fantasy of pseudoarchaeological narratives with reality in the mind of the believer of those narratives. The flashiness of pseudoarchaeology is its most obvious and most insidious mechanism. It's how it spreads like a sickness. It's an epidemic. Pseudoarchaeology takes advantage of the lack of good science communication and the fact that the majority of people aren't nerds who would make a video about pseudoarchaeology or even watch a video about pseudoarchaeology. I see you. Archaeology is full of amazing stories. Real human stories that are incredible tales and must be told, like the story of early Polynesian explorers or the North American copper culture who were mining copper and using copper tools while most of Europe at least was still banging rocks together. And those stories, they're unbelievably cool, and they need to be told by people who won't claim that aliens were responsible for their success. There needs to be more science communicators like his name is coming up in my script again. If I say his name like one more time, he's gonna appear in my home like Beetlejuice or like Bloody Mary, but here we go again. Mini Minuteman. There needs to be more science communicators like here we go. Mini Minuteman, Milo Rossi. I think that's 3 times. He's the same person. Whatever. If he appears to kill me with facts and logic, I deserve it. But he's one of the best examples of what an effective modern-day science communicator looks like. The effective science communicator takes and breaks down the often dense, lengthy, jargon-filled science that the average person doesn't have the time, background knowledge, or will to understand, and that's valid, because it shouldn't fall to the average person to have to seek out and interpret complex scientific topics. They got shit to do, and if you're watching this video, you're probably some kind of nerd who's ignoring your own shit to do because you find this interesting. Thank you, it's a hell of a compliment. And as some kind of nerd, you know something about something. And you can absolutely go tell someone about it, no matter if it's making a video or just finding some random person on the street and like tying them up and teaching them about, I don't know, transistors. Teach that person or those people so a pseudoscientist cannot lie to them first. You have the power to spread the vaccine of knowledge, to help inoculate humanity against the plague, the disease, the sickness of pseudoscience. You can help spread the cure. Together, we can eradicate this plague, like we did with smallpox. Fuck yeah, vaccines are awesome. Education is the key. Okay, so really, thank you so much for watching. This is actually a presentation for my English 101 class. It's due in 2 days, and I procrastinated way too hard. And yes, that river was really, really cold. And really, really, from the bottom of my cold, empty heart, thank you for watching. And, please, if you like the video, hell, if you like the video enough, maybe you could just leave a like and maybe subscribe. And maybe if you do that enough, I'll make another video at some point in the future. Crazy, I know. And fuck, I love reading comments. So if you comment some topics for any potential video essays, could be anything, I'm crazy. Maybe I'll fall in a different icy river while trying to record that. Well, that's about it. Have a good rest of your morning. Thanks for watching. I have a hell of an edit ahead of me. Bye-bye. Also, Mini Man, Milo Rossi for watching this. What? Don't stop. Don't leave. Now, forget everything. Give me Men in Black Neuralizer. Stop.